Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again with another mini set card review, and now we have the Paladin cards to go over. Is Paladin gonna take over Hearthstone again? Yet again? They're getting some really good stuff. At least one insane mana cheat card, although 2 cards can cheat mana. Isn't that fun? As well as discovering weapons from the past. What is going on with these nostalgic cards? We're going to review them, and if you want to win these cards or any of the other cards from the mini set, we have a giveaway going on for 3 mini sets out of my pocket. To enter the giveaway, like, comment in the video, link to the description below. The one with that thumbnail over there. Be subscribed to the channel. Every 1,000 subs we get until the 14th, I will add another mini set. So hit that sub button, make me go baroque. So first we have a new Paladin spell, the Whack-a-Knoll. It's not the Whack-a-Knoll hammer, by the way. I think that's a shaman weapon. This is a 1-mana spell that discovers a Paladin weapon, so not the Whack-a-Knoll, that's a shaman weapon, from the past, and you give it +1/+1. There's around 20-ish weapons, Paladin weapons in Wild, and they can vary from pretty bad, from like, I think the worst one I can think of is like Light Sorrow. Even giving you that +1/+1, probably pretty bad, but you have like Hammer of the Naru is really solid. Valinir for like infinite value, or the recently buffed Vine Cleaver. It would just be incredible, right? Getting like a 5/4 Vine Cleaver for 6 mana. This might actually be decent. Like giving that +1/+1 to a lot of decent weapons out there. You can get some lifesteal options depending on your situation, can be pretty good. And yeah, you're paying 1 mana for that. Like it's really not that bad. You're getting the hand buff, a card. It's basically, like, I feel like the value on this is pretty solid. It just, do I want to hard run this card? I don't think so, but it's close. It's certainly, again, like I love to say, a good arena pick. You'll be pretty happy with that. But regards to like standard gameplay itself, I would definitely see it in like a Reno Paladin. I would think they would love that as just another value card and a removal option. Like just getting the Murloc weapon from back in the day, getting 3 random Murlocs because you get an extra durability, that could be really solid. There's a lot of good options. There's not that many bad weapons, and you'll get 3 to pick from. So you'll probably get a good pick. I just don't know. Again, what deck does this really slot into? I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5 in standard. I think the Reno decks could possibly use it, and maybe, yeah, it's just an aggressive option where for 1 mana, I take a relatively cheap weapon that gets a nice buff and just smack my opponent, right? There are some possibilities for it. I'm not writing this card off. In Wild, I mean, odd Paladin, I guess, but I'll give it a 2 there. Paladin's pretty cutthroat. It's more like even Paladin there these days anyways, and just fighting really hard for board, and Reno Paladin, I don't think would bother with this in that format. So I'll give it a 2 for Wild, but certainly a card that actually might pop up. Another spell that might, I think all these cards could, by the way. The next card here, Holy Glow Sticks, a 4 mana holy spell for Paladin. So Garden's Grace gets cheaper in Wild now with this. It deals 4 damage. It's not great. It can go face. It's got lifesteal, kind of reminiscent of that pre-spell, the Shadow one we saw a while ago. However, this will cost 1 less if you've cast a holy spell this turn. So it's just a 1 mana cheat that turn if you've comboed it with some other holy card. So is that good? It's all right. Right now, Paladin's not very holy based, but the next card will probably make you want to play some holy cards. Let's just put it that way. You can play like a holy Mackie Rolly or whatever Macca roll it's called in Wild, and that could be okay. Again, I don't know what it slots into. It's really hard to think off the top with that. Most of the holy spells right now are pretty much aggressive based, like got like your Crusader's auras and your Keeper strengths and I guess your consecrations and all that. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5, but again, maybe a Reno deck just likes it as some removal, some healing. It's got a little bit of flexibility. It's never truly 3 mana because you gotta invest mana in another holy spell. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 in standard, a 2 out of 5 in Wild, but maybe I could be wrong on this one. Maybe it'll be quite good enough. And then lastly, we do have a card that I am pretty terrified by. Seems really good. It is a brand new mech, the Flickering Lightbot. It is a 3 mana 3/3 mech, as I mentioned. Gigantify costs 1 less for each holy spell you have cast this game. So you have the 3 mana 3/3 version. You cast just 1 holy spell, it's a 2 mana 3/3, and you cast 3 holy spells, it's free. You just get it. That's it. Dirt cheap. And then of course you also get the 8 mana 8/8 version, the giant version, which also gets that discount. So you played 8 holy spells in the game, it will be 0 mana, 0 mana 8/8. And again, I mentioned wild, you got the holy mackerel, just play that 8 times and it's done. But you know, that's not the easiest. You got to spend the mana to do that. Just looking at the current pool of like holy cards in standard, it's just not a lot of stuff that you really want to be running. Like a quality, it's defensive. You're not, you know, using, this feels like a more aggressive style of card. Flash of Light, you don't really want to be playing. You got Hand of a Doll, Lay Down the Law, you don't want to be playing. Like most of these cards are not seeing a ton of meta play. Like you could throw out a Consecration, a Hammer of Wrath to help cycle, get it out, but your Deputization aura, but that got pretty heavily nerfed. Crusader aura, you can just see like the holy spell options right now for Paladin are not super amazing. So as a standalone card, it looks pretty terrifying. Getting, you know, these minions out for really cheap can be really good, but when there's just not a ton of holy spell support for it in standard, I don't think I need to be too terrified of these 0 mana 8/8 mechs that you could slap a magnetic on, you could do other stuff with it, right? It's a mech, you can discount it in other ways. There's other things you can do with it. Of course, hand buffing, lots of potential. Again, I'm just looking at that holy spell school and the pool of cards in standard that I don't think this will be a meta player yet, but I do think it will emerge over time. So I'm going to give it at least, I'm still going to give it a 4. Like I'm still giving it a 4. It still can come down so cheap at some point that I do feel like this card is strong enough to get a pretty decent rating, even though I don't expect to see it a lot on ladder, at least in the short term. But it could, again, you never know. I could be wrong on that. And in wild, who knows, right? There's so many more crazy holy spells. Does it like bring Libram Paladin back? Because you get your 0 mana Libram of Wisdoms and just spam those and get these giant stats out there? Probably not enough, but you never know. I'll just say for the last time, holy mackerel, which is not really something you want to do for this, but again, it works pretty well, right? You just spam that to 1 turn, you can play all these 0 mana 3/3, 0 mana 8/8s. That is pretty good, and it might actually be a thing. You never know. So I'll give it a 3 in wild, because yes, mana cheat good, mech good, stats good. I don't know. This review, probably not so good, but we'll go with that. So there you go. That's all the Paladin cards for the mini set. Probably not going to lead to Paladin taking over the game, but they're still also really good with Flood Paladin, so they don't got anything to worry about as it stands. We'll have one more review in like an hour, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.